Hey everybody, my name is Lucas and this is my wife Morgan, you see right here, and we're the founders and operators of a ministry called Roots for Life. We operate it full time in South Sudan and Northern Sudan. We have a 2.5-year-old daughter, Sela, and a 1-month-old baby girl named Annabelle. We run a Bible school about 45 minutes away from our home in Juba, South Sudan, and we train Sudanese missionaries to go and be church planters and disciple makers in some of the more harder to reach areas in the region that God allows us to join Him in ministering to. So we founded Roots for Life in 2019. That's when it started, with the help of our church at the Church of 1122 and some of our elders and deacons that really were foundational as we took our big first steps and moved to Northeast Africa. So here's a quick story and some background information about where we do ministry and who with. So this is Pastor Ibrahim Alel, one of our critical members of our ministry. This is the general and commander of the Sudan People's Liberation Movement. This is the country of Northern Sudan and the country of Southern Sudan. So we live in the south here. And we work in the southern part of northern Sudan and most of the areas in South Sudan. And so our biggest focus is training Sudanese missionaries to plant churches and to make disciples. And so one of the coolest opportunities that we have is working with this man right here, again, the general of the SPLM, that has granted us access to this entire southern region that is full of majority Muslim people groups and people that really don't know who Jesus is. And so as the war broke out, a lot of these people in the north have fled down here to the southern region and are residing as internally displaced people in an area called the Nuba Mountains that is overseen and governed by this man. So we have, like I said, our Bible school. It's called Laminga Bible School. We have a cool selection process that identifies potential high capacity disciple makers, and we focus very heavily on worldview, coupled with theology, vocational skills, and a very practical based curriculum. Now, in application, what that means is we train them and immerse and expose them to opportunities to include refugee camps and villages and urban environments to really give them many opportunities to figure out how God wants to use them vocationally in ministry. And so we try and create a really cool environment for them to learn, again, both theological church planting opportunities as well as vocational that includes farming, brick making, water filters, cooking, and things like that. So here's a little background on 3 of our church planters that have went out last year. And so this is Anur, this is Nairun and Habil, and they are planting churches in the Nuba Mountains in predominantly Islamic areas. That is very challenging, but we are seeing amazing fruit from their efforts as they are so called by God and so, or excuse me, such high capacity disciple makers. And so we're very grateful for them and their efforts currently underway. So this right here is a church up in the Nuba Mountains that we're getting ready to go construct a more permanent structure as every year during the rainy season, their structures just like this are destroyed. And so these are some of the Muslim chiefs and again, the general that has granted us access to this area and given us the authority to plant churches, to do some small scale evangelism, discipleship, just in, again, areas where we're granted access. So we'd like to put this up here. This is what the missions world calls the 1040 window, 10 degrees north latitude, 40 degrees north latitude. This is where the majority of the unreached people in the world still remain. We operate right around here. And the reason these places remain unreached is because the challenges and difficulty cause them to stay this way. For example, wars, conflicts, enormous poverty, and logistical challenges that prevent us from traveling easily and getting to places again where there's little to no gospel access. So we love where God has called us to, and this is just a little background on that. So this is one of our newer ministry partners. This is Dr. Alan Medley, who founded Peanut Better. Peanut Better is an organization that produces, ships, and provides fortified peanut butter. So his heartbeat is using this fortified peanut butter to combat severe malnutrition and even death in the highest at-risk group of 2 to 8 year olds. We're getting ready to roll this out in a pilot program that will include areas where our church planners are working to almost exclusively internally displaced people that have migrated to the southern parts of Sudan from the war that's currently underway. So we're really excited to roll this out. This is some background information on what my wife focuses mainly on. So my wife and this group of ladies you see right here go into brothels and areas where prostitutes and some of these trafficked girls are in southern Sudan. And so this is a picture of them actually in the brothel, doing ministry, building relationships, and setting the stage for opportunities for these women to try and make decisions to come out of this life. It's very challenging. It's a very difficult environment. And in some cases, it can be a little dangerous to be there. But my wife, being the fearless woman she is, along with this lady who founded the ministry, go into these places week in and week out in, again, very difficult conditions to proclaim the goodness of the gospel of Jesus Christ. So I like to reflect on this verse, the Great Commission. I look at it more as a mandate for all people to engage in the mission of God for the glory of God to all nations. And so this verse helps recenter my desires and my focus. And I challenge you to incorporate it into your everyday prayer life. These are some of our needs right here, and I'll give you some examples of how they break down. So travel, this is the cost of round trip tickets for me and my family to go to South Sudan and to come back. That is almost exclusively what this is. So capacity building is focusing internally on the staff and the pastors and the people that we have, building their capacity to do more, again, for the glory of God, whether that be English training, computer training, doing some conferences that focus on discipleship and running our ministry in South Sudan. Farm expansion right here, we have a 5 acre farm that we currently farm 1 acre of. So this would expand our capacity from 1 acre to 4 acres. Again, that's fenced in, that is secured with security to be able to grow all of our own food. This translation line right here is specific to a translation project that God provided us an opportunity on, where a missionary 10 years ago that got chased out of the region called Shat. That's an ethno-linguistic people that speak a language called the Shat language. Translated the book of Luke in its written form, and so we have a couple of Shat speakers who are ready to work with us and put in a recording studio for an audio Bible, and for us to produce this book of Luke translation for all of these speakers in this entire region. These are just some pictures depicting what some of those needs correlate to. And here's a QR code that will take you to a link to our website. If you have any questions, thoughts, or concerns, please email me or shoot me a message or give me a call. We would love if you would consider joining on a short-term trip this year. But we appreciate you taking the time to listen to this quick presentation about what we do and again, what God allows us to join Him in doing and what He's already started. We're just trying to be good stewards. And again, thank you for your time.